Okay, some of you may know I put a request in for a lesson on the Beach Boys, God Only Knows, and 65 Casino PM'd me and said that there was a guy on YouTube who had an acoustic version, and so I thought I'd have a look at some tabs, and I managed to find a tab, and what I've played is pretty much what the tab says. I've changed a few things in it, just because I thought that they weren't quite right, or I thought something sounded a little bit better. So I'll just run through it quickly. So the introduction, capo on the second fret, capo on the second fret, and when I reference fret numbers I'll reference it from the capo. So this would be fret 1, 2, etc. Okay, so introduction. So it's simply G and D, and then we run down from the G to this, sorry, the G to this, and then the first verse starts with a C with an added G on the 6th string. So G, C, G, this is, to an A minor 6th, very nice chord. This is the 4th fret of the 4th string, the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And then on to an E minor, and then we take off this finger, and is an E minor 6th. So once again, now if you don't want to play it this way, you can just play so. Then to a D. Which is a B flat diminished. So D to which is the 1st fret on the 5th string and the 2nd fret on the 4th and the 2nd strings. Back to a D, which we'll play as a bar. And then we move on to a G minor, G sharp minor something. So from our D, now if you don't want to, you don't have to play these 2 notes up here. You can just play. So we're going to play 6, 5 and 4, string 6, 5 and 4. We've got a bar on the 4th fret, and we've got our finger on the 5th fret of the 5th string. So that's the first 4 strings. This is what it sounds like without adding this. Not too good. So if we add this, it fits a bit better. And then we move into the chorus. To the next verse. Sorry, we'll go. We move on to that verse. After the next verse, there's an instrumental break, and I just played that by so that's the 5th fret on the 4th string and the 4th fret on the 3rd, and then open. Then we move it down to the 3rd fret on the 4th and the 2nd fret on the 3rd. Fairly simple stuff. And then we move into this interlude or whatever it is prior to the next chorus, and it goes like this. Okay, so it's simply an F to a D minor, to a D minor, to an A minor, to an A minor 7th, to our A minor 6th, sorry, so to a G, to an E flat diminished. So this is simply barring the first 4 strings of the 1st fret, and then adding the 2nd fret of the 3rd string and the 2nd fret of the 1st. So this is an E flat diminished chord. And an interesting thing about the diminished chords is that if you just move them along 3 frets, they basically inversion, so same. Okay, so we play that, and then we move to our G again, which we're going to play as a bar. So from here to our barred G, and next we play a C sharp minor something. Okay, so what I'm doing here, if you only want to play these 4 strings, 5, 4, 3 and 2, you can, but I've added in the 1st string here by slightly angling my index finger to try and pick that 3rd fret of the 1st string up. So the chord is actually 4th fret of the 5th, 5th fret of the 4th, 4th fret of the 3rd, 5th fret of the 2nd. So I'm trying to add this note in by doing it this way. And then I add, so it sounds like and then we move back to the chorus, only this time we're playing it on C. So simple rundown: C, A minor 7, and then we move back into the verse. And the rest of it's pretty much the same as what we've just learnt.